The aroma of fresh coffee clung gently to the morning air in Clark Kent's modest apartment. Sunlight, filtered through his window, cast a warm glow on the daily newspaper, the headlines devoid of any immediate global threats. For a moment, just a fleeting moment, Clark Kent was simply Clark Kent, a quiet reporter, enjoying the peaceful hum of Metropolis waking up around him. It was a rare, cherished pause in a life constantly teetering on the edge of the extraordinary. But peace, for Clark, was always a fragile thing. And on this particular morning, it wasn't a sudden explosion or a distant cry for help that shattered the calm, but something far more bizarre, far more, well, bizarro. From the window, a familiar, distorted figure descended, not with malice, but with an unsettling earnestness. Bizarro, Superman's imperfect, often well-meaning duplicate, had arrived. His square, chalk-white face, usually a mask of confusion, was now lit with a peculiar, misguided triumph. "Look, Superman! Bizarro help you!" he boomed, his voice a gravelly echo that resonated through the quiet streets. And with a single, simple gesture, he pointed directly at Clark, then at his own chest, emblazoned with a reversed S. The words hung in the air, then dissolved into a cacophony of gasps, whispers, and the frantic clicking of cameras. On the street below, pedestrians froze. Reporters, ever vigilant, dropped their coffees, their pens, their very composure. The world, it seemed, had just been handed a monumental truth, delivered by the most unlikely and utterly unhelpful of messengers. Clark Kent was Superman. The immediate aftermath was for Clark a waking nightmare. His apartment, once a sanctuary, became the epicenter of a media storm. Every news channel, every radio station, every corner of the internet was ablaze with the shocking discovery. The carefully constructed wall between his two identities, built over years with meticulous care and painful sacrifice, had been demolished in an instant, not by a villain, but by a friend with the purest, most twisted intentions. The chaos wasn't just external. For Clark, it was a profound invasion. His quiet life, his ability to walk among humanity as one of them, to understand their struggles from within, was suddenly compromised. How could he protect Lois, Jimmy, his friends, when every single person now knew his true, vulnerable self? The burden of the secret, once heavy, was now replaced by the overwhelming weight of its exposure. The feeling was a suffocating mix of frustration, fear, and a strange, ironic helplessness. Denial was futile. The world had seen Bizarro, had heard his seemingly irrefutable proof. The public wasn't just curious, they were confused, some fearful, many feeling a strange sense of betrayal. Superman, the symbol of hope, had been living a lie, or so it appeared. Clark understood that a mere press conference wouldn't suffice. He needed something grand, something utterly convincing, something that would not just deny the truth, but rewrite it in the public's mind. And that's when the idea, born out of sheer desperation and a touch of genius, began to form: a Superman robot. The plan was audacious, bordering on absurd, yet it was Clark's only option. He would need to construct a fully functional Superman replica, a robotic stand-in capable of appearing alongside him, thereby proving that Bizarro's claims were simply the ramblings of a confused duplicate. It required immense technological prowess, a discreet workshop, and above all, perfect timing and execution. The stakes were nothing less than his entire existence as both Clark Kent and Superman. The day of the great unveiling arrived. The world watched with bated breath as Superman, looking more somber than usual, addressed the throngs gathered in Metropolis Square. And then, from the depths of the Daily Planet building, or perhaps a secret lair carefully orchestrated, another Superman emerged. Identical in every way, save for the subtle glint of circuitry in its eyes, a detail only perceivable in the most controlled conditions, and certainly not from a distance, or under pressure. Bizarro, ever eager to help, was brought back into the fold, an unwitting accomplice in his own undoing. The plan was simple. The two Supermen, the real and the robotic, would perform a series of feats, demonstrating their individuality. The true Superman would perform an act of immense power, while the robot would mimic, but with subtle differences or slight delays, suggesting it was merely an imitation. Bizarro, observing the two figures, his backward logic working overtime, would eventually conclude that if there were two Supermen, then his initial premise that Superman and Clark Kent were one must be flawed. After all, how could Clark Kent be both Superman? And so, as the real Superman would subtly guide the robot, making it perform actions that clearly differentiated it from his own, Bizarro's mind, in its own twisted way, started to process the new information. His aha moment was a confused, drawn-out groan as he declared with utmost certainty, "Bizarro wrong! Superman not Clark Kent! There are two Superman! Bizarro helped Superman by showing Bizarro was wrong." The crowd, initially confused, then relieved, roared. The narrative had been successfully shifted. The Bizarro was mistaken was far more palatable, far more logical than the terrifying idea of Superman living a double life among them. For Clark, the immediate danger had passed. His secret was for now safe, but the experience left an indelible mark. It was a potent reminder of the incredible fragility of his hidden identity and the profound responsibility that came with it. The comedic absurdity of the situation, being outed by a simple-minded duplicate only to be cleared by the same duplicate's twisted logic, masked a very real vulnerability. It underscored how dependent his ability to protect the world often was on his ability to remain unknown, a quiet sentinel in plain sight. This strange tale from the annals of Superman's history serves as a whimsical yet insightful look at the dangers of having an all-powerful, simple-minded duplicate. It highlights not just the chaos that can ensue from good intentions gone awry, but also the extraordinary lengths to which our heroes must sometimes go to protect the very lives they've chosen to lead. It's a story that reminds us of the delicate balance between power and privacy and the quiet burdens carried even by the strongest among us. What do you think of Bizarro's help? Have you ever seen a situation where good intentions led to chaos? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your perspectives on these classic stories and the unexpected lessons they hold.